There's a big difference between a job and performing work that you like to do. And even if you are wealthy and you have enough money to survive and have the nice things that money can afford, you might just become bored with nothing to keep you busy. And some people just like to work, no matter how rich they are. But there are also some wealthy people who lost it all and now work everyday jobs out of necessity. With that in mind, check out these 5 wealthy people who now work normal jobs. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. With that being said, let's begin. Number 5, Chris Owen. If you've ever seen the great movie trilogy American Pie, or at least one of these films, then you might recognize this actor and photographer. He was a ladies' man in the film, and it would seem with the popularity of these films, everyone that starred in them would be set for life. The character Chuck Sherman, also known as the Shermanator, was a self-confessed, sophisticated sex robot who was sent back in time from the future. Many would say that this was one of the things that contributed to the big-time success of these films. However, it's been 17 years since the first American Pie film, and a lot can happen over 17 years. Since then, Chris Owens has grown up quite a bit, and his appearance has changed drastically from 90s punk-style kid with greasy spiked hair. Now, he has a well-groomed beard and a much nicer hairstyle, and he's looking pretty good overall. In fact, he looks just like any nice actor would, and you'd think that with this new look, he would probably have a lot of job offers. However, this has not been the case for Chris. It could be that sometimes actors can play a part a little too well, and it makes it difficult for people to see that character playing a different role. For example, a well-known comedian acting in a dramatic role. Some fans would recognize him, and many might not recognize him at all. However, in 2013, he was spotted working as a waiter in a sushi restaurant. Don't get us wrong, there's nothing wrong with being a waiter, and you have to do some things you don't like to do sometimes to make ends meet. The person who spotted him said that it seemed kind of sad and that no one else recognized him. Maybe Chris enjoys his job and waiters at nice restaurants can pull in some good money per day, but we think that maybe Chris would rather be acting in a new blockbuster film. The pay is certainly better. Maybe it's only a matter of time before there's an American Pie reunion movie, and maybe some things are better left alone. Now we'll see. Number 4. Tony Danza. Not everyone that's an actor planned from the very moment of becoming an actor when asked what they wanted to be when they grew up. Tony Danza is one of those people. If you aren't sure who Tony Danza is, he was very popular on a television series that ran from 1984 to 1992 called Who's the Boss, where he played alongside Alyssa Milano. The show was a sitcom that sometimes had some good messages behind it and also a few surprises here and there that kept it really popular. He also starred in another television series alongside Danny DeVito called Taxi, which didn't live so long with only a couple of seasons. Despite this, Tony Danza made himself a household name on Who's the Boss, and everyone knew who he was. In 2009, Tony ended up in Philadelphia with his acting credentials, and he had a college education degree, but he did not yet have a teaching certificate. However, the city of Philadelphia fixed that, and Tony suddenly became a first-year English teacher for a new reality TV show called Teach. The filming happened at Northeast High School and was a project for A&E, and was about him leaving acting to become a teacher. The show wasn't that popular, but did have some good moments through the single season it was on. Only 7 episodes aired, but Tony did some good things on the show to help the children in the school. One of the interesting things is that he says he cried 3 times during the first week in the classroom. Tony explained that one time he didn't get the facts right and a student had to correct him. And even though this is a show on TV, Tony was attending all the school meetings, creating lesson plans, and even covering other teachers' classes. Mr. Danza said that he wanted to call all of his teachers and apologize to them, now knowing how difficult it really is being a teacher, especially after going from a full-time actor to an English teacher in a high school. If anyone knows how high school is, you can understand the crying part. Number 3. Freddie Prinze. This actor has a few good films under his belt, like the I Know What You Did Last Summer movies, and She's All That, and the film Summer Catch. and he also played Fred in the Scooby-Doo films. He was in a few more films, of which most seem to be disliked by film critics. It would seem that when you're making films about a cartoon character, things might not be going as well as you had planned them. However, he did do pretty well, and he ended up retiring from being an actor. Freddy is married to Sarah Michelle Gellar, and they even met on the set of I Know What You Did Last Summer, and have been together ever since. Freddie Prinze Jr. still has an estimated net worth of $19 million, along with Sarah's $16 million. Together, the $34 million can keep you quite comfortable. However, Freddie is not just a retired actor, he's also a great cook, apparently. He has a TV series he created called Messipes, which is also known as Messy Recipes. The whole idea behind this was not just a cooking show, but to bring families together and make mealtime more memorable. So he struck a deal with Palmolive and created a show with a twist on recipes and got children involved in helping their parents in the kitchen, from getting recipes prepped and everything needed for them, and becoming taste testers during the cooking process, and helping clean up. Every mom's worst nightmare being a dirty kitchen. Of course, having a cooking show means you better have a recipe book to go along with it. So Freddie put together a book called Back to the Kitchen that has 75 recipes from the food-obsessed actor. Freddie was actually pushed by Michelle to do what he loves and follow his passion of cooking. Freddie's doing pretty well with his cookbook, and his series got decent reviews. Anything that brings a family together is a good business, after all. Number 2. Rob Van Winkle. Many don't know this rapper by his real name. On the other hand, mention Vanilla Ice, and the majority of people know that name, and the song that he was insanely popular for creating, Ice Ice Baby. He sold 15 million albums worldwide due to the popularity of that song in the 90s. By the way, that song was the first rap song to top the Billboard charts. Looking at the massive success that this song had, Robert was able to see all the nice things in life that he could afford, such as nice cars, really nice houses, and the ability to travel where he wanted. There were lots of good times and fun parties, and of course his really nice modern home on Star Island. Suddenly, his career had exploded, and he had everything that he wanted. However, as many people know, things don't always stay the same, and those big hits you have in the beginning of your career dwindle down, while new talent comes along and takes the spotlight from you. However, Van Winkle wasn't always pleased with the lifestyle of being a famous recording artist, and his home had a design that made him feel as if he was living in a nightclub. As far as the rap career, and facing a home that didn't feel like home to him, the next thing he decided to do was just plain smart. Robert is now 50 years old, and instead of disappearing altogether into what many would call pop culture obscurity, he went on to become a real estate investor and a home decorator. That takes care of the two problems, with career and living in a place that doesn't feel right. And while you're at it, why not turn this newfound career in renovation wizardry into a television series? Well, that's exactly what he did. He's got a show on the DIY network called Vanilla Ice Project. In the series, Robert goes out and finds homes and then guts them out and turns them into beautiful, upscale homes in the South Florida area. These homes easily turn him a nice profit, in which he buys them, restores them, and sells them. The series is doing very well, and it turns out that Rob actually has 15 years of home improvement experience. Even before he became a famous rapper, he went out as a teenager and picked up some smart property purchases and got his hands dirty remodeling them. Anyone want a house designed by Vanilla Ice? Well, now you have your chance. Number 1. Tom Selleck. Some of you might know this actor, and some of you might not. It all depends if you grew up watching a television series in the 80s and 90s. At that time, Tom Selleck was doing pretty well on a TV show called Magnum P.I. as a private investigator named Thomas Magnum, who lives in a guest house on a 200-acre beachfront estate in Hawaii. Living a luxurious life on the island while solving some interesting crimes was a big hit with people, and the series went on for 8 long years. But as time goes by, new television series come along and old series die out. That's when you plan for retirement, and have hopefully saved up a few pennies for a rainy day. The fact is, Tom gave up acting and retired from the TV show to have a family. As he was working 90 hours a week, it was also time to get away from Hollywood for a break. Selleck has had more than 50 TV and film roles since Magnum P.I. Some of you might also recognize him as one of the main actors in the film 3 Men and a Baby. So he was extremely busy, and now you understand the 90-hour work weeks. The interesting thing is, doing all of this kind of requires you to have someplace to escape it all. So Tom went out and found a 1926 ranch house on 26 acres of land. The ranch has a horse corral and a 20-acre avocado farm. Yeah, that's right. Tom Selleck went from actor to avocado farmer, and it's not actually been an easy ride. Avocados are harvested late spring, and all through the summer months, those trees need a lot of water. So it's a difficult thing to have an avocado farm and make a profit. Tom even got himself into some trouble by borrowing some water that belonged to somebody else. The funny and ironic thing is that he was quietly sending a water truck to fetch the water during a California drought, and a private investigator was hired to find out where that water was going. Apparently, he owes $22,000 to cover the water and the cost of the private investigator. Better luck next time, Selleck. Hope you enjoyed the video, Top 5ers. If you haven't already, check out our other channel, Americano, to enjoy even more amazing list videos. There'll be a link in the description, so check it out, as well as our other cool stuff